Geek Week in Review special episode, and we are talking about Doctor Strange and Into the Multiverse of Madness. Stay tuned.
The Geek Week in Review.
Hello and welcome back to a special episode of the Geek Week in Review with me, Jacob's Toys, of course, wonderful one and only SuperSorrell, and RyanSpeaksGeek. Please do like, share, subscribe, all those things that we ask you to do all the time. And if you are listening on podcasts, then please continue to download, share, etc., etc. If you're on Facebook or Instagram, you can check the Geek Week in Review out over there. Any support is much appreciated. Now, before we do get started, I want to say a massive spoiler warning, because we are obviously going to talk about Doctor Strange and Into the Multiverse of Madness. Let's mix up the viewing plateau. Let's change it up a little bit.
So am I going to go into Ash's room and Ash is going to appear in mine? Or
you know what? If I had the power to do that, that'd be amazing. But instead, let's just change the background a little bit. So with the power of a little bit of chaos magic, look at this. Look at this.
Hey,
look at that. Look at that. See?
The budget just went through the roof.
Oh, we are. It's good. It's good. So let's like see the show out in this dark version.
Beats my bedsheet background.
Okay. So the Multiverse of Madness. So if you haven't seen the film and you want to, stay spoiler free, then come back and listen to the show after you've seen it. Or if you're curious and you're going to see it and you want to hear our thoughts beforehand, then carry on watching. Do your thing. I don't mind. What I will say, though, is that over here in the UK, it came out on Thursday the 4th, was it? Thursday the 4th? No, Thursday the
5th.
5th of May, wasn't it? Yeah,
it was on the Revenge of the 5th.
That's it. I'm trying to get my head around all the Star Wars days. But yeah, it came out on the 5th of May, and it released in the US on the 6th of May.
Yes,
on Friday the 6th of May. But then there were obviously advanced screenings and stuff. So spoilers have been leaking around the internet. So if you've done your best to avoid them, then congratulations. I actually went into it spoiler free myself. What about you, gents? Did you?
More or less spoiler free. It was. I knew there were a couple of people going to be in it thanks to the trailers and stuff. But other than that, no, I've managed to remain completely
I had a major one spoiled for me by a freaking thumbnail. When I was just changing, when you listen to sleep stuff at night because you can't sleep, right? The night before, so Wednesday night, I'm tired out of my mind. It's like 2 a.m, and I'm like, go on YouTube to find some kind of sleep thing to listen to. And I shit you not, the thumbnail that came up in my suggested videos was quite clearly, genuinely, someone who'd filmed something in the cinema, and it gave away one of the biggest smegging things. I've never been so annoyed at 2 a.m. and sober.
Oh man!
And I can't. I mean, I can tell you what the thing was actually, because now we've got past the spoiler warning.
Tell us when we get to it. We get to it.
Before we start, I just want to say, because I know he listens, Henry Calvert, who is actually a follower of mine, who now I've become a follower of his. He's a big TikTok guy now, 119,000 bleeding followers. The Apprentice has become the master and all that. And he took his photo with me at York Comic Con like 2 or 3 years ago, just before COVID. And over lockdown, and his account just blew up. And he's now ahead of all of us.
Nice.
And the guy was awesome. He's been sent out to the European what do you call it? Opening night of the Multiverse of Madness, and got put up in a hotel and got a big geeky box full of stuff from Marvel. It's like,
amazing.
You lucky lad. But yeah, Henry, I know he listens to the show, so big up. And I've been following his content this week. I managed to stay spoiler free for the actual film, but yeah, it was so cool to see him on red carpet and stuff. That's awesome.
That's wicked.
We don't have a red carpet. I'm sure we could put a red towel down for him to join us on here one day.
Yeah, you have to get him on one week.
He don't live far from me. He lives in York. So, I mean, he lives that road.
Well, he hasn't got to go into your house to join the show. He can dial in. It's fine.
We're in a Zoom world now.
It's anyone could join.
Are you both wearing Mando t-shirts?
Yes.
Yeah. Did you not get the memo?
No, I went with NASA, but like 80s synthwave NASA.
Space themed.
Did yours come from Zavi too?
No. This one came from the store. No. This is like I really like this one. It's like a black and white. It's really cool.
The Mando head one.
It is. That's nice. What I would say though is that this particular film, there seems to be a lot more kind of red carpet events, and like they did one in London that was just literally for cosplayers, and all the stars were there, and Sam Raimi was there, and that they didn't watch the film, they just did an event, and then it was covered on the news and stuff. And there was a lot of creators that have been sent out to the various different ones in like America and in Europe. I mean, I had 3 or 4 invitations, but I had to turn them down because of commitments and stuff. No, that would be amazing. I mean, like obviously to get invited to something like that would be incredible. We're obviously just waiting for our invitation.
I mean, I can't get Alistair to send me a Twix, let alone all the stuff you guys get, albeit invites. You know, so I'm.
Let's face it, boys, we're not in our 20s anymore. We don't look good on a red carpet. We just look like dads escorting children to the cinema. Let's be honest.
Yeah, exactly.
Speak for yourself. Exactly. I shave this beard. I'm Vin Diesel. Contacts and a shave. Vin Diesel. I'm on there. I just go around talking about family, fast cars. I'm in.
Is there actually been an episode yet where Ryan's been on where we've not said the Vin Diesel line? I'm pretty sure it's in every episode.
No, Vin Diesel took over from Yaddle. When I retired Yaddle, Vin Diesel took over. I mean, there might be a Vin Diesel Yaddle crossover at some point. I don't know. Anything could happen.
That'd be amazing. That'd be incredible, wouldn't it? So let's talk Doctor Strange then. Let's talk Doctor Strange.
Family, it is.
How should we do this? Should we just go through it as the film? Like just literally from beginning to end.
We're gonna tell you what. I'll take this to the cinema. We'll stream the film and we'll just talk as the film is going on. Yeah,
like DVD commentary. Oh, DVD commentary. That's a throwback.
I actually still love a DVD commentary.
I enjoy a DVD commentary, and that shows why we don't get invited to red carpets because we are old.
Let's put the scanning pause on my VHS copy, but yeah.
It started as it meant to go on. Let's be perfectly honest with it. Like it started straight away, didn't it? Like you jumped straight into the action with that Defender Strange and America Chavez like fighting off that thing, whatever it was, that kind of evil thing. And I'm going to say it right now because I've already done a video on the figures like I did one earlier on today. I was well disappointed when he died right at the beginning. I'm not even going to lie because that was the exclusive figure. That was the figure that people were kind of chasing after, and we all assumed that was going to be like the Illuminati member or the kind of the other Strange that guides him. And then before the credits even roll, they just kill him.
As we know from Steve and all the guys, though, they probably didn't even know that themselves. They probably just saw that new look for Strange in the trailer and went, right, we'll go with that one.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I said. That is what I said in my video. I was like, kind of like, disclaimer. Like, I know that it's done on concept art and everything like that, but it was a really bad pick of characters because the trailer showed you a lot of people that were hardly in it. So, yeah. So what did you think of? Let's. How do we go about this? How did it start for you? Were you in from the beginning, or were you?
Well, I think it started the same way in every cinema.
You know what I mean.
I couldn't resist that. You can't say something like that and not expect me to buy it.
That would have been a really good PR. Can you imagine if there was like 6 or 7 different versions of the film?
Oh my God, that would have been so smart.
The trick there, didn't they? The same film, but just kind of edited in different ways, and you had to go and see all kind of 6 parts. Oh, that would have been a nightmare.
Like Odeon's got one, View's got the other, Cineworld's got the third. You've got to go to each cinema chain to see the entire movie.
The multi-chain of madness.
You only see the final part if you get invited to a red carpet. That's the only way you can see the final part.
No.
Yeah, I mean, I must admit, from the get-go, I was really invested. I was kind of like, yep, I'm on board with this. This is cool. This is how I want it to look.
Okay, right. I will go straight into them. So it started off really strong. Like I'm glad it didn't do a slow opening, because I think with something like that, when it's already established characters and you already sort of have a high level expectations, a slow start is a weak start. If it's a brand new character and you're introducing stuff, a slow start works because you're building familiarity in the relationship. Everyone already knows Doctor Strange, regardless of what form he's in. Everyone knows who Doctor Strange is, and because of the trailers, it introduces the unusual element to it straight away, which is America Chavez. So It was a really good kickoff start. And then it was nice to kind of bring, we have the bit where obviously they try and get the thing and, he dies. It's good because it introduces that the betrayal element of Stephen, strangers are potentially going to go wrong. They introduced that really nicely. And then we go to the Stephen Strange we're familiar with. And it works because actually the guy doesn't get the girl. And I know it sounds like a really weird thing, but it just breaks some of the tropes of, you know, even Steve Rogers eventually gets Peggy Carter, and do you know what I mean, and stuff like that. And you know, it was quite a nice way to break that.
Yeah, I was really pleased with the wedding scene. I'm not going to lie, because the trailer gave you the impression that he was marrying her, didn't it? The trailer gave you the impression that they were getting married, and that was one part where I was like, yeah, this is a weird, because like you say, it's not the happy ending. He chose the superhero life, like, you know, just, well, the superhero life chose him. I really liked this, talking about superhero elements. I really liked that wedding scene, the way it went from the wedding scene straight into like that big action scene, and he did the kind of big superhero reveal that we've not seen him do before, and that jumping over the balcony and the that was really kind of Superman-esque, and I was in.
He was very responsible. Like, he did put his glass back on the waiter's tray first.
Oh, I know.
Before then doing it, I was like, rather than just smash it, that's what
thing. Yeah,
just very, very suave. Very. I mean, part of me thinks that was actually Benedict Cumberbatch, because just being like the English gentleman that he is, the call was probably throws glass dramatically. No, I won't do that. I'm Benedict Cumberbatch. Benedict Cucumber Man puts it on the tray.
But what I will say is that, go on. Sorry. No, I was just gonna. My point was going to be that Doctor Strange wasn't one of the top draft picks when it comes to the superheroes in the MCU before all the Infinity stuff. Like when his film came out and he was just doing little cameos and stuff, not, you know, people liked him, but he wasn't the Captain America, the Thor, and all that kind of stuff. And he was kind of one of the lesser favored ones. And then I think with all the Infinity War stuff and all the kind of co-starring that he did in films, he became a really popular character. He wasn't popular because of his solo film. He was popular because of all the other films that he did. You think that's a fair assumption?
Yeah, I now assume his like role is like the Captain America of the team going forward. I see him as like the leader or kind of the father figure of the younger cast members coming up, aren't they? They're all like looking to him like they all look to Steve. Is how I see it.
I am, but that superhero jump was that to me was like, yeah, this is something that we've not. He's a superhero now, like whereas before it was all very elegant and everything like that. And I loved that fight. I loved that fight with the I can't even remember what the name of the monster
intro.
Yeah. Well, that's what I was going to say. Like Wong's introduction there was brilliant, and Wong is just a good character. Like he is just a good character. Did you guys go back and watch any of the things that was recommended? Because they recommended you watched Doctor Strange, WandaVision, What If, and No Way Home before going into this.
I didn't really need to. I know the story.
I know him so well
many times.
Yeah.
I've been watching so
I told other people to go and watch those things who hadn't seen it. Like my because like I obviously take my mum to go and see a lot of the films when they come out. Like mum comes with me and everything. I did say to her, I was like, you need to watch WandaVision. She hasn't watched a lot of the TV stuff yet. I said, look, I told her, guys, you've got 2 weeks. Watch WandaVision. That is the main one to watch before this, because basically all of Scarlet Witch's or her storyline is derived from that series.
Yeah, I feel really bad.
I look at that series almost as a prequel to this film now.
It is, yeah. I feel really bad for my kids because they watched No Way Home and they were like, they loved it, and I was like, right, Doctor Strange is the next one to come out. They were like, brilliant. I was like, but if you're going to go and see it, you need to watch Doctor Strange and WandaVision, and they've already seen What If. I said, just so that you're aware of what's going on. And I came back from watching it last night. I was like, no, we're not. It's too dark for you. We'll go wait for the DVD. So they've invested all this time.
Dark film.
It is.
We thought like Morbius was going to be the first sort of really dark Marvel film, and it was not. It was. It's Doctor Strange.
Yeah, but the big fight scene, in the. Go on.
I think there's like a slight delay. Yeah, I think there's a slight delay.
It's all right. Go ahead.
I was going to say that for me, I was like, the thing that I liked the most about this film was the fact that they did go dark with it, and Sam Raimi was clearly left to let it go that way, and there was clearly it didn't look like there was any form of interference from Disney saying make it lighter. They seemed to have gone with the darker tone and just gone with it. I mean, we had corpses, zombies, demons. Everyone that said you can't have a demon. everyone that says you can't have a demon in a Disney movie, oh, you got told wrong, my friend.
Yeah.
There was the undead zombies and everything. That was brilliant.
But
and I love that.
The thing is,
the fact I think we've needed that darker element for Doctor Strange for a while, and I'm glad they finally took the leap, because the comics that I always read of Doctor Strange were always ones based on the dark dimension, the dark hole, the demons, that sort of evil stuff. That's what he fights, in my opinion.
Yeah. No, you hit the nail on the head there, and that's that. You know, the comic book, the source material for Doctor Strange is very dark and very the mystic arts and that kind of stuff, and it's been too kind of soft for him so far. So this was that was really cool. And you think that people need to remember as well is like Sam Raimi, like it's Evil Dead, Army of Darkness, like those kind of things. People think of the Spider-Man films, but let's be honest, this guy is a horror director through and through. Like, you know, and some, you know, for their time and for what they are, they were really core horror films. And there was
I
a
actually
lot
went to
of
go
times
see
when
the
I was
Evil Dead
watching
2
this.
in the cinema recently. There was an anniversary showing of it, and it still holds up. Still
Oh,
fantastic.
it's brilliant. Army of Darkness, even though it was like the parody kind of comedy one.
This
for me
is my boomstick. Sorry.
That was
Well,
still
and it
one of
links
my
nicely
favourites.
because Bruce Campbell is obviously continues his Sam Raimi streak and appears in the film.
You know what? That's the one cameo that kind of pissed me off. I'm not gonna lie. I was just kind of like, this is just, it's like almost like Johnny Depp in a Tim Burton film. It's kind of like, you know, he was going to turn up, you knew he was going to have an unnecessary amount of lines, and whatever he was going to add wasn't going to add anything to the story. So I was kind of like, okay, there it is, there he is. But yeah, I just think that the dark side of it was very good. But there was times when I was watching it where I felt like I was watching an Evil Dead film. It was that kind of dark and that element. But let's bring it back to the light bits. Let's bring it back to the beginning. So the fighting, the opening, introduction of Wong was all very good. I like the kind of story, the way that America kind of explains the backstory and everything like that. It really got dark when he went to find Wanda, didn't it? And he found her on the farm. That was when it kind of really switched again.
Which is really early on.
I did not see that coming. That bit in the cinema where she sort of says the girl's name and then you see they both sort of freeze for a split second, like, oh, you never told me her name. It's like you just see that evil starts coming out, and I love how subtle that change in her was. So that she proves she's a very good actress. She played that so well.
This is one of the best things I've seen her in, without a doubt. Like she didn't just bring she didn't bring an extra layer, she brought an extra like 6. Like it was incredible, like acting on her behalf. Like she was Scarlet Witch, like she was the evil twisted Scarlet Witch that,
and flicking between the two, like when she was playing the regular, like the one division Scarlet in the other dimension, and then flicking between the evil version and the good version. You could tell at what point. Obviously, they did the eye flicker and all that, but I mean, you could tell just from her acting, like she played 2 different roles very well.
Oh, yeah, without a doubt. But
I'm glad they kept, going back to the beginning, I'm glad they kept America Chavez's original origins. They haven't changed that in any way, shape, or form. That is her comic book origins. So, if they stick with that, then the next few films are going to be very interesting, because her storyline, she is part of the Young Avengers. She's the one that's been missing. The next film should show her going to find Kid Loki, if it follows the comic books, which I think it will, because they've set it up nicely now with Wanda's kids in the other dimension, Kid Loki. They've already introduced Kate Bishop now. They've introduced the Young Avengers slowly. We just need the new version of Hulk to kick in at some point, which I think we might see during I think we might see that during She-Hulk. You know, that could be his entrance.
Quite possibly.
Yeah, I just love use that character, but all the others loved her there.
Character. I thought she was brilliant. I thought the actress was brilliant. I thought the character was brilliant. I was well chuffed. I thought it was.
And it's the funny thing is that there's a lot of complaints about her on the internet. Like a lot, like
really.
There was complaints about her ethnicity, about her sexuality, like because she's a character that's got so much involvement. Like she's got a little bit of everything somehow. Like she was the one, people weren't complaining about Scarlet Witch or Benedict Cumberbatch or anything like that. They were complaining about the new different thing. And that's typical of the internet. But I just thought she was brilliant. I thought she played the character brilliantly. I thought she was like likable. She was, you kind of wanted her to succeed, but yeah, I can't.
Anyone who's
I think she was a
complaining
real-
and saying things about her for those reasons are just sad, pathetic people. That's really disappointing. But
I know.
mean,
but
if
that's
people
the
have got
world we live in,
if people can be critical about a performance, I'm fine with that. I understand that, and people just be personal for no reason. It's stupid.
No, they don't care about her performance. They care about the fact that she's got 2 mums. It's like, come on.
Well, she has 2 mums in the comic book.
Yeah, I know.
That's
not in America's comic.
Yeah, and she's got an LGBTQ plus like badge on her jacket. Like, come on, guys, get over it. Like, it is what it is. She's
welcome to the new world, man.
For me, I've always been aware of her character a little bit more because I shamelessly watched the Marvel Rising TV series for kids with my daughter because she loves it, the Secret Warriors. So I'm already kind of familiar with the character of America Chavez and who she is. So and I've been going back and reading some of the comic books using the old Marvel app. So there's some good
I knew
stories
of her because she does go, like you said, because like you said, actually, she's involved in like bits of everywhere. So like I know it's one of those things where even though I didn't know a lot about her, I knew of her and seen bits of her in different comic lines I sort of picked up and read and stuff like this. So it's one of those characters where you, even if you have not read a direct comic, I was like, I knew because she's always just appearing everywhere.
Yeah, she's a cool character. She's a cool character. And we've obviously got her in Marvel Legends form now because they gave us the MCU version. We're still waiting on a comic book version, but I'm sure that will come very soon.
It won't be far now.
Up to this point in the film, before the kind of battle at what's it called? Karmatash. But before the big battle there was two cameos already in the film. Did you pick up on them? They're really little ones. So the guy at the guy at the wedding that Doctor Strange sits next to, that's that's the other doctor, the one that operated on the bullet and that kind of stuff.
Who seems to have watched Joaquin Phoenix's Joker and thought, I'm going to try and be like as much like what he looked like. Like, I'm trying to think of a good sort of name of him. Nokin Phoenix. I'm trying to think of a good knockoff name for him. Knocking Phoenix. There we go. Knocking Phoenix. He just instantly came out and it destabilized me, and it took me a couple of seconds because of how he looked and the way he was acting. It's like, oh, you're dickhead doctor from the first one.
That's the one. That's the one.
It did take me a couple of minutes to work it out.
The other one was in the when they were at
Karmatash.
Chameleon. There's the older sorcerer as well. That he's one of the ones. And he's the one with one hand. Yeah. Remember when in Doctor Strange? Yeah. So it was cool to see those characters back and to see kind of reoccurring characters, which I think he's gave a bit of continuity.
Because he went through. I think he's dead, the old guy now, because like he went through the puddle. You know, like the. Yeah. So I'm like,
they took him out. Like, come on, most people died in this film.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, he got a slightly better death than the Warriors 3.
But while we're on it, right, Rintrah, right, the big green Minotaur, right, wasn't even in it. Let's be honest, wasn't even in the film. Like,
he was there for all of 10 seconds.
I kind of feel like he was meant to have more lines and stuff because his credit at the end of the film was on par with
heavily.
Yeah. So I kind of feel like he had a few more lines that just didn't make it into the final edit because
you know what frustrates me about that,
which is a shame because it looked really good CGI.
In the comic books, his story, without going into huge detail, but he helps Doctor Strange fix his cape. Like when the cloak of levitation gets broken, or someone fixes it for him and he brings it to Doctor Strange. So he's involved in that storyline. So it frustrated me when the cloak did get ripped and they didn't tie Rintrah into that. But also he asks Doctor Strange to be his apprentice. So he becomes Doctor Strange's apprentice in the comic books. And that didn't happen. And it was just kind of like, you know what, it wouldn't take more than a couple of lines and you could have really kind of given it some comic book justice. But I just feel that there's definitely deleted scenes somewhere where he was supposed to do something more.
I think so too, purely because, like I said, the end credits bit, like he shared a panel with the guy who actually destroyed the book in the end.
Yeah. But yeah, it was yeah, so that scene, I must admit, that big battle scene, I thought was brilliant. Like I really enjoyed that with all the sorcerers and everything, and the way that the what is it, the Hong Kong sanctum and the British or the UK sanctum kind of came through.
With the Scottish kilt type looking. It was very cool. I won't lie. I kind of loved that each area has its own sort of special.
I want to know more about these two, but obviously
Disney Plus
Wong
will do a
is
series on them. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
But Wong is the big sorcerer supreme. Like he's the one that everyone listens to. Which, going back and watching Doctor Strange 1, where he's just kind of essentially the librarian, it's really cool to see his story arc go from like where he is in that first film through all the films that he's been in, all the way through like Shang-Chi, where he's doing the stuff with Abomination and that, to now being the Sorcerer Supreme and basically just like ruling this army of sorcerers, which was very cool for me. Yeah, I like that a lot.
But is he still listening to Beyonce? That's what I want to know.
Yeah, probably. So let's go
from the battle. Yeah.
Let's go. Where did they go from there? They went.
So we had the battle, and there's a few things like so. Obviously, we saw the basically the shield wall broke because she managed to do the whispery thing, which I love how they animated that and showed her sort of appearing behind the guy and whispering in his brain. And
yeah,
that was a cool scene.
That was very evil, like Evil Dead, Sam Raimi, like the way she just appeared and stuff.
And then obviously we had the big fight indoors where she got trapped in the Mirrorverse, but she broke out by using the puddles. And again, that scene again was very evil and very good.
The whole bit out of
the mirror was like the ring.
And she cracked her neck when she got out and stuff, like breaking her body back into place, and she stood up. Oh, that was brilliant.
Yeah.
The animation.
So then we go to our first one, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
You know when you see things in some films and you go, "That was obviously CGI and that looked awful." This didn't. This looked proper, crisp, and it was realistically done, which I liked. It wasn't like ridiculous.
That's what made it creepier because it looked so real.
Yeah, I really liked how like say when she got out of that mirror, it actually looked like she crawled out of it. It didn't look like a CGI green screen or anything. It looked brilliant.
Yeah, it was really, really well done. And that bit was obviously quite freaky. And that's where America Chavez and Doctor Strange then escape, don't they, through the portals?
Yeah,
and they
in
go
the beginning,
through...
she can't control her powers, so whenever she gets scared, basically the portal power activates.
Which I love the fact it's a star, which is actually it's the 5 points, like with the head and stuff. It works on so many levels, but it's just really cool.
Yeah,
I really love it.
But then they dropped through like all the different dimensions, didn't they? But we pretty much saw that scene in the trailer, and I kind of wish there was a little bit more to it. And I wonder whether there's any Easter eggs in that we haven't seen.
I think right now Jake has dropped through a ball. There we go.
Yeah,
no. Could you hear me, or did I just drop?
Yeah, we can hear you still. Yeah, we
just disappeared in the multiverse.
It just but yeah, no, I thought that was cool. But I wonder whether there's any like Easter eggs and stuff that we haven't seen, or that whether that's something that people will go back and like pull apart on the DVD and stuff. Yeah. But it was cool to see all the different things. Like there was obviously a little hint of the Savage Land with the dinosaurs. There was the
cartoon land with the Spider-Ham and stuff.
Yeah. There was like the House of M. Like
I didn't think of it being the Spider-Ham universe. Weirdly,
that's how I
never made that connection. Yeah, it's a good shout.
Cartoon universe.
And then they reference the paint, don't they, and all the rest of it. And then they land in. Is it 836 or something? 81. Was it 8-1? No, it wasn't.
It's like it's 8-something-8, and then their one is like 616, 616 and 838 or something like that. It's something 8-something-8, but because I don't know, it just didn't sound random enough to be like 237 or something. I don't know.
No, obviously 616 is the Marvel universe. That's the main.
As a comic book reader, though, how do you feel about them referring to the MCU as Earth 616? I kind of wanted them to give it its own designation for MCU, so that they were almost admitting that 616 does exist somewhere else, and that's where the comic books come into play. And that these are not directly linked to your comic book. I thought that would have been a cool little nod to, we know there are other stories in 616, but this is comic book Mirrorverse, this is the movieverse. And so we'll give it its own designation. I thought that would have been a cool little nod, but I see why they did it. It was only
technically, you could say that they've designated it 616 in their universe, but in another universe, it was designated 427, or in other universes don't have numbers. So every universe would number every other one differently because it's a different universe.
Yeah.
How's that for you blowing your mind?
I think the thing is that 616 is always classed as like the main staple.
Universe.
That's the main universe. And, you know, the movies are just establishing that what you've seen is the main universe. But I think they missed a trick there. So I think that if they'd given it a different one, that would have been quite cool. But I think it would have confused people too much. That's probably why they avoided it. But this one, this place they went to is quite a bit different, but very similar.
Yeah. Just going back to what I'm saying, because one of my ideas was, just as a thing, and you heard it here first, one of my ideas was, for comic books going forward, if they'd have given it its own designation for the MCU verse, technically you could have had a comic book where MCU Spider-Man goes and visits 616 Spider-Man. See what I mean there? That is a comic book you want to see, right? He takes the mask off, and it's a comic book version of what do you call his face underneath it?
Tom Holland.
Tom Holland, and Tom Holland goes to meet Peter Parker. My God, yes.
You know what? As well, just from an action figure collector's perspective, that one thing that would have changed as well is because everyone's kind of odd. Do you collect comic book or do you collect MCU?
Exactly.
But if the MCU was like
its own multiverse,
and comic book was 616, then you could essentially have it all on the display together, like I do, and go, it's all the same. They're just different universes.
Different multiverse.
That's what I'm going with now. When people ask me why you collect both, I'm like, no, I just collect every multiverse. Like it's just, but I quite like this 838 or whatever it was called. I thought that was quite cool. It was familiar enough that we could like recognize it, and that's where Bruce Campbell's what is he called? Pizza
Papa
dude. Pizza Papa. That's it. Was there any reference to the Pizza Papa thing? Was that just something random?
Papa's Pizza, you know, where you got Papa John's, isn't it? Papa's Pizza. Papa's here.
So, yeah.
That really cheesy American advert they used to have with the guy on it. He was Papa.
Yeah.
Papa's home.
I was really disappointed that he didn't do his kind of signature groovy. Like, that would have been awesome. And there were so many opportunities to do it, like when he was feeling the cape and everything, and you know, but he didn't.
The memory pads, like when they go through the memory thing, was a really lovely segue to be able to see into both what happened, like, you know, the engagement that he originally done, you know, sorry, the sort of not engagement, the moment that he got the watch from Christina, and then when, you know, it was a nice way of doing the little origin story for America without having it was a long guy, it was a wet and cold day. It was a cold winter's morn, and then it flashed back, diddle-doo, Wayne's World style. It just did that whole pad thing, and that was actually a really good way of segueing into those two. You know, really reminding the audience how important the watch was, because if obviously you hadn't seen the first one for a while and everything, you go in there and it reiterates how important that watch is for later on in the film. And then it was also good because it, you know, like I said, it established the origins of America, which was good.
It was a good way of showing us.
It's clever.
Yeah, really clever way of giving us a backstory to a new character without giving us a backstory. It was good as well to see Rachel Mcadams back. We didn't kind of touch on that, but seeing her back in her role, which was quite cool, because then obviously she comes back in this universe as well with a slightly different color haircut. And that's where we're introduced to the fact that Doctor Strange in this universe has perished, died, like killed, defeating Thanos, wasn't it? It was what was it?
Made the noble sacrifice.
That's it. Dude, the world's mightiest hero or whatever, which was cool. I really liked Mordo's look in this film.
Yeah, it was awesome.
The guy got pimped out. When you look at him in the first film, like, and he ends that first film, if you remember, a lot on the post-credit scene, chasing down that guy that
going around any of the other wizards and stealing their.
It was anyone that was using magic inappropriately, and he was taking it all back. And there was that guy that couldn't walk, and he was using it to walk again. And the post-credit scene is literally just seeing Mordo go in there and take that, basically paralyze that guy again by taking the magic back. So he was setting up to be the big bad for another film. And it was nice the way they had that tense moment. But his outfit was cool. It was like, he looked good. I loved his hair, his robes. Like he was cool. Wasn't in the film for very long. Again, I was just I got the action figure of him. I was really excited to see him come back, and he wasn't in for a huge amount of time, which is.
But it's funny because it's not even our Mordo. That's the other thing. No. Interestingly, I had to keep reminding myself when I'm watching it. That's not the one that we're expecting to be a villain at some point. It's a different one But
Different
it's
one.
still going to probably end up being a villain at some point. But
I didn't see the kind of segue to the Illuminati coming at that point.
no,
I didn't pick up on it. Even though in the trailer we see him talking about the Illuminati and everything, I didn't see it coming. And it kind of crept up on me without me realizing. I don't know about you guys, but that was a
pleasantly
nice kind
surprised.
of we're here, it's coming, it's coming.
Holidays
So,
are coming, cameos are coming.
So the Illuminati scene. Because obviously
The hall
we
of
had-
cameos. Yes.
we had the little kind of introduction to Rachel McAdams' character and saying that, you know, the universes and everything, and then we had the Illuminati. Well, first of all, we had the Ultron bots, didn't we? And there was no real explanation to that as to why these guys.
We've already seen the what if. You already know why. You know, they want an Ultron bots around the world. This was a multiverse where that worked.
Yeah, but there wasn't an Iron Man.
Yeah, but he was there somewhere. He just wasn't in the film, but he's there somewhere.
He might not have been part of the Illuminati.
Because of Doctor Strange's sacrifice, he may have survived that battle instead of the other way around. You know what I mean? That Iron Man could still exist in their universe.
He could have even retired.
For my simple brain, I was kind of like, why are you giving me Ultron, but you're not giving me Bruce Banner or Hank Pym or Tony Stark?
I thought
Anyway,
it was kind of because of the what if and the like original storylines. I thought that was kind of
yeah. It did. I'm just complaining for the sake of complaining. But
I like the fact that they built up. I like the fact that they built up to the moment, like they introduced them all, but they didn't introduce Xavier. And I was like, wait, the whole time I'm sat there going, "Where's Patrick? Where's Patrick?" And then they wheel him out with the
music.
In the background.
Yeah.
That was it me, or did he look like he was in the chair like this?
He did look like
it was just like it looked like
Like
they'd
like
made
Davros from Doctor Who.
Yeah, they'd made a really massive chair. Oh yeah, this is so comic book accurate. This is going to look awesome. And then Patrick Stewart turned up and got in here. I was like, it's a little too big. Like,
how many people did their heads? How many people with their Marvel edges did their head swap this morning? How many people went? Patrick Stewart's head's now remaining on that body forever.
Yeah, I know. I'll put it back now. But I did swap it over.
I said to you, that is going to be, I'm telling you, that is such an easy re-release for Legends to do. They're just going to re-release that green suited body with Patrick's head on it in the yellow chair. There is your Doctor. Yeah, your Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness, Professor X. Yeah. Done. Re-release Black Bolt, done.
But I mean, that was one thing that was really nice to see, was Black Bolt back. 'Cause I am one of probably the few people that enjoyed the Inhuman series.
It was nice to see him back.
Yeah, I quite enjoyed it. I know it wasn't in tone with a lot of the other stuff that was coming out at the time, which I think is what it suffered from. But I actually did. I watched it quite a bit later, and I found myself quite enjoying the Inhumans.
I didn't mind it. There was a lot of characters in it that were cool. It was good to have. I mean, full disclaimer, like there's been very little Marvel entertainment stuff that's come out that I've not enjoyed. Like even Cloak and Dagger, things like that. Like I really enjoy anything that I can watch a physical representation of the comic book. So Inhumans for me was just, you know what, I think it fell very much like the Eternals, you know, like it's not going to be everyone's cup of tea. They could have done things differently, but it was what it was and it told a story. So it was good to see what's his name, Anson Mount back.
Yeah, because I didn't know anything about the Inhumans before I watched it. So when I watched it, I really enjoyed it. But I think because I knew nothing about them really, maybe that's why I enjoyed it more. I don't know.
But how many people, thanks to that film, are now going to go back and watch it because it was the same actor, right? It was the same guy.
Yeah. Anson Mount.
Yeah, so people are going to go back now and go, oh,
more like Handsome Mount.
Yeah, people are going to be like, maybe I'll give this a try now.
So let's talk about each of the cameos. So Black Bolt, let's focus on him. Obviously played by the same actor, made his costume a lot more comic book accurate, which unfortunately did cover a lot more of his face. You couldn't tell 100% whether it was him or not. And I was pretty confident it was, but I had to go and Google it afterwards to make sure that it was. So I was like, is it? Or have they just got somebody that looks a lot like him? Because you can't really tell by his voice because he doesn't say a lot. No. Let's be honest.
And the fork was fantastic. So
yeah. His death though, that was something
all
else,
of the deaths were like
Let's do
brutal
them one
as.
at a time. Let's do them
Okay.
one at a time. His death, I think, was one of the worst, in my opinion, because when you think of what his power is,
Yeah.
and you've seen, they've already shown you it. For anyone that didn't know, you've already seen what he's capable of, and then he's not got a mouth, and it's internal. Like
Because I like the fact that
was
the scene where they show obviously them saying goodbye to Doctor Strange, and obviously they tell us that Doctor Strange is is being taken over by the Darkhold. They need to get rid of him.
Yeah.
He's making the sacrifice to kill himself. Black Bolt's
It's
the
got
one that does it.
got black
Yeah.
fingers. Like,
Black Bolt's the one that does it, and you see that power there, don't you? Where he shouts, he says the simple words of "I'm sorry" and obliterates Stephen into nothing, to sand.
Yeah.
So I mean, when he blows his own head off with that power, jeez.
Yeah.
It was even more graphic than that. Weirdly, I think it would have been more graphic. It just blew up completely, but it did that thing where it sort of imploded a bit and just
the back,
and the blood. It would have been.
It was
sounds stupid. It
gruesome.
would have been less dark if it just went, like, just popped and just went, just dissipated into nothing.
Comic book.
Oh no, they
But the whole
they worked on it. Yeah.
did also imply, I would say though, his suit was somehow designed to withstand his power.
It was.
Which, like, it's awesome. And I was like, what a cool little detail to add.
If Jacob might tell me wrong, but if I remember rightly, back in the comic books back in the day, the Fantastic Four created the suits that would withstand powers. They gave them to the Avengers, to the X-Men, and to the Inhumans, right? Their suits are also made out of the same material, so that Black Bolt didn't blow himself up every time he spoke. He didn't
I
blow his
believe
own.
so.
Yeah,
That does sound very familiar.
And he had the little wings as well.
Yeah, because that's how they explain that when Wolverine pulls his claws out, his gloves don't have holes in every 2 minutes. It just saved the artist having to repatch up the costumes every 10 seconds.
It basically, if there's in most of the comic books, if there's a hurdle to overcome, the Fantastic Four have developed it somehow. That's literally their get.
It's like Futurama when they try to explain it, and Fry's like, "Magic, got it."
That's what I was going to say with the cape. When they patch up the cape, I was assuming that blue patch was a nod to that, and that was a piece of the Fantastic Four material that doesn't disintegrate or doesn't get destroyed by the magic that Stephen's going to cast on it, so that it makes the cape a bit more powerful, like vulnerable.
Yeah, quite possibly. But then
segues good into our next member.
I've just got to say first though, the wings, and it was just a blink and you miss it. But it's such a Black Bolt thing to have
the
them
wings
and it was just a really cool little detail. They didn't have to put in, but they did, and he looked good. Black Bolt, yes, brilliant. I'm definitely going to go back and rewatch the Inhumans.
Captain Marvel.
So yeah,
the Captain Marvel cameo.
Yes, you want to do her next?
This confused me because the actress playing her, was she that's not Monica Rambeau, and that's not, who is that?
No, it is. It's Monica's mum.
Is it?
It's Maria.
Monica's mum. It's Maria Rambeau. Right. Okay.
Yeah.
I've not done any googling since I've seen the film. I've seen the film and then chatted with you guys. I've not googled the thing. So
so Maria. Yeah, in that universe, Maria Rambeau, who's obviously good. She's best friends with Carol Danvers, isn't she? In the first film. And in this universe, she's the one who gets the powers, which is quite a believable swap.
What if scenario?
That they're both kind of in the same places at the same time, so it could have happened. Okay, so we've mentioned two. Who are we going for? Captain Marvel or let's go.
It's got to be Captain Marvel because we've
Captain Marvel. So there wasn't a lot to say. We'd seen her in the trailer. A lot of people had guessed that was who it was, but not kind of put two and two together that it was what's her name, Maria.
Do you think they used Maria because they didn't want the backlash of using actual Carol Danvers? Because nobody, let's be honest, there's a lot of backlash for the female Captain Marvel.
I think it was just to do a different take, just to have a variant. I think it was just to do a different take because also when you've got and also she's hot property at the moment because of Bond.
Yeah,
it's if you're going to put someone, if you're going to make a change. And the other thing is, I'll be honest, it probably as well helps with a bit of sort of equal representation as well. Having a bit of diversity on the Illuminati.
Because they don't want HR down there.
No, HR have got to sit there and they've got to be careful. No, but joking aside, but it's another established character that actually does add some diversity to, Mordo
the thing is as well,
and the white team. So it would be.
Ryan, you're digging a hole.
I'm not digging a hole. I'm just saying it's a positive thing.
Ryan did speak geek. Is now cancelled.
I'm in support of it.
The internet can flip.
No,
anything,
because see, look, it's because you're reacting like this that makes it awkward. It's because I'm saying it's a positive thing.
I know what you're saying.
What? Tomorrow I've got to review that stupid BB droid, and it's the Pride BB droid. BB Proud, Disney have called it. And it's the Pride droid, and I am terrified to say something wrong in that video. I'm sat here going, and this is going to be the most PC video I've ever made.
The thing that you are forgetting, though, is that when Captain Marvel came out, the film, Maria's character was a massive fan favorite. Like, people really liked the character. And I think that's the only reason why it was her, because it's a callback to that first film. It's kind of, this is a character that you've met. This is a character that people liked. And you know what? In this universe, she became Captain Marvel. And her suit was the same, but just a different color. Powers were pretty much the same.
Proper take charge, though, wasn't she? Like, I absolutely loved that. He was like taking names. Like, you really wouldn't want to piss her off.
No.
There was no room for an argument with her. I would have just been like,
no, not at all.
Whatever you said, you're right. I'm quitting.
And she just got squished by a statue. So
she was the longest surviving out of the four that went to physically fight.
Was she?
Yeah, I mean, Charles Xavier didn't physically fight, but
listen, she was Captain Marvel and she got squished by a statue. That to me was the biggest letdown. I was kind of like, no, she wouldn't have just kind of like got squished by a statue. Like there should have been some drained,
and then she got squashed.
That's believable because Wanda can do that, but they should have animated something to show the powers being drained from her.
They did. All of her power, all the stuff went down from her. All her color, all the glow around her started draining past, and her mask started disintegrating because all her powers are gone, and then she was just left in a. Did we watch the same film?
Yeah, no, I
it was really clear that her power was being stolen from her, and then it turned her human, and then she couldn't stop the statue. That was the thing. That's why it made it sort of almost, something that would normally good sort of death for her, because something that would normally be nothing, like swatting off life for her, crushed her because she basically had everything that made her strong, and the powerful parts of it stripped away from her.
For me, it'd be like seeing Iron Man die because he ran out of fuel or something. You know what I mean? It was kind of like it just was a bit of a letdown. I do get it and why it worked. But it was cool to see her.
Isn't that how he died in space in the first film? Because he ran out of rocket fuel.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. Touche.
He ran out of oxygen.
And a touch of weatherproofing.
So then let's move on. We've got actually Mordo, because we did talk about him at the beginning, but he's obviously on the Illuminati because he's the sorcerer. Is he the sorcerer supreme in that universe?
Yeah, and easy to anger.
But we didn't. Yeah, he got really, really annoyed with Strange, and they had a really cool fight. That was a really good fight scene. But we didn't really see what happened to him. He didn't come to anyone's aid. He just kind of stayed down that little hole and hid.
I kind of wonder if they're saving him for him and other Mordo to be like a paired up, like a team up of Mordo and Mordo.
Mordo and Mordo.
More Mordo. More Mordo.
Yeah.
You don't do that. Mordo.
So then we got three left. Who should we do?
Britain. Captain Britain.
Captain Britain.
I call it Captain Britain, but it's Captain Carter, but
yeah.
Captain Carter. I'm not gonna lie. This was massively underwhelming for me.
Yeah. No, I agree. I wanted more.
Well, I want more of all of them, but it's not their film. But I thought because we were so wondering how we were going to see her portrayed, because obviously Captain America's beefy. She looks beefy in the comic books, but obviously the actress playing is quite slender. I thought they did a damn good job at making her look the part.
Oh yeah,
she
looked brilliant. And when she was doing the fight scene, she didn't look flimsy. She looked the part doing the fight scenes. Flipping around with the jetpack and stuff.
She looked like a live action version of the What If version. That hands down. There's no disputing that at all. I just found it a little bit underwhelming.
I just wanted a bit more fight from her.
I don't know. There was something that I think she was the character that was spoiled the most for me, because they showed her in the trailer and they didn't need to. And that was a real shame, because I think if we'd seen her on screen for the first time, the pop would have been massive, because since Since What If, she has become a huge fan favorite. She's now got her own comic book line. She's, was rumored to be coming into the MCU. She's, there's artwork, there's figures, there's like she's hot property at the moment. And
is she the one from What If?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That...
There's only one. Yeah, there's only one.
Captain
That's a new character. Like that's a new thing.
Well, I wasn't sure if it sounds stupid if that was like another version of Captain Carter. That's what I was just trying to, because I get very confused.
What do you mean?
Because she's a new character, I saw it as that's the same one that we've seen in What If.
Oh no, see, I didn't.
Did you know?
Yeah, that's what I was asking, whether she was the one from What If. That's what I mean. The exact same one.
The one in What If is now in Earth 616 because she woke up with Nick Cage and all that.
Oh yeah,
Nick Fury. Sorry, Nick Cage. Nick Fury.
I'm Captain Ghost.
That's my name. Team.
Still the Declaration of Independence.
Yeah, you know what, Sorrell? Hats off to you. I hadn't thought about that.
I just assumed it was another version of Captain Carter in another multiverse. That's what I assumed.
But it has to be. It has to be because, as you say, after the post credit. Yeah, but then at the end with the Ultron one, she was brought into a different universe, wasn't she? She was brought in to fight as the Guardians of the Multiverse, or whatever. So
the thing is, there can be multiple versions of it now. And the other thing is, I guess they'll see her reaction, like the reaction to her, and then they'll be like, right, do we do a Disney Plus series? Let's find out the reaction from this film. And then
she'll be back.
This could almost have been a checklist of going, who should we bring back for Disney Plus series? Put them on the Illuminati, see the test audiences.
I've got a feeling you're going to see her in the next Captain America movie, without a doubt, hands down. She'll reappear. She's a fan favorite.
I'm kind of on the fence. I think we either could, or this was it. This was the fan service because people loved her in the show, in the What If show. There's obviously a comic book out now. And I kind of wondered whether this was just the fan service of, Hayley Atwell's not going to be able to play the character forever. Like she's bearing in mind that like Chris Evans, for example, has hung up the reins of Steve Rogers after 12 years. She started as Peggy Carter at the same time. So, she's a lot older than she was. Is she really going to be wanting to do?
I don't see her doing much in the way of a lot of fight scenes very often, but I think she will appear like she did in this, where she has minimal sort of ish fight scene to do, but she could do a lot more of the talky scenes. You know what I mean? She could appear as someone in the film. You know what I mean? Like as an appearance. I can see them doing stuff with her. I don't think they would just get rid of her after one film with one cameo. It's too much of an investment in the suit and doing whatever CGI they had to do to that, and they put too much effort in.
I do hope so. I was
same with Black Bolt. For me, it's same with Black Bolt. Same with that Monica Rambeau version of Captain Marvel. I think we'll see these people again.
Maria,
sorry. And moving on.
I agree.
And then if we talk about Xavier, just segue over, I don't think this was Patrick Stewart's end either. It was a cool cameo, but I think we'll use him again.
No, I think this is it.
They should have saved that pop. They should have saved that pop for the cinema.
Yeah.
Yeah, they should have saved
the pop.
But I think this was just a nice little extra. I don't think he's coming back again.
The way he came out and stuff, the way he came out with the music and things, to me was like the way they built him up was, that you waited all this time to see him in the MCU. This is it, and then they should have left that as the pop in the cinema, not in the trailer. Like we knew he was there from the voice, and it was too much in the trailer for me. That was what annoyed me. I would have rather have been sat in the film and seen that him come out in the chair and stuff, because finally he's in the proper as an X-Men fan, he's in the proper outfit, he's in the proper fucking wheelchair. Everything about it was
the 90s cartoon movie.
It screamed
but
comic book.
Then we on the red carpet, you saw Captain Carter, Professor X, and Maria Rambeau. Like they were all there at the red carpet, so that just gave it away. But I agree. I think that Captain Carter and Professor X at least should have been saved. They could have shown us Black Bolt and they could have shown us Captain Marvel, because although they were cool cameos, they wouldn't have got as big a pop as Captain Carter and Professor X. And I think that they really threw away something by giving that away in the trailer.
In my cinema, I'm not about you guys. My cinema was the opening night cinema, first showing of the opening night. So I expected a lot of people to be making noise and be like, woo, like Marvel fans.
Oh, mine was.
Nobody made a noise at any of the characters popping up.
Oh, mine did.
There was only one character. One character got a noise in mine, and that was Reed Richards. that was the one that got the noise because it was the one that no one knew about. And that for me exactly. That was the time when I was like, holy, like, this is it. Like, and the thing that you've got to remember is that, and this is where we were talking before we started recording, and we kind of refused to say whether we liked the film or not. The reason I left the film annoyed and not overwhelmed was because we've waited forever to see the Fantastic Four and the X-Men in the MCU. And this film gave them both to us at the same time and killed them off within the same scene. And that really annoyed me.
I would think really of it as what you got was a sneak preview of the future of the.
Oh, it is.
But
it
I know what you mean.
100%.
It is one of those things. You are like, the thing is, what would you rather have saved it for another 10 years and for another Infinity War style film, to all the individual films to build up a whole another set of phases for everything to do that? Or
but this is
I
why
just seeing like a preview of it on this.
I've just got to justify this at a minute, right? I just got to justify this because I left being annoyed because I was like, you've given us Fantastic Four, you've given us X-Men, you've given us Peggy Carter as Captain Carter, all in the same film, all in the same scene, and then you've killed them all off. And that really not offended, that's the wrong word, but I was just really disappointed by it. But then afterwards, I thought, you know what? Patrick Stewart as Xavier is everyone's Xavier. So to have him in the MCU would be like, to not have him in the MCU would be just criminal. Captain Carter is a huge fan favorite at the moment. And what's his name? John, I can never say his surname properly.
Krasinski.
Krasinski. He's been the fan favorite for Reed Richards forever. Like,
also the runner-up for Captain America. Let's not forget about that, which is hilarious.
Oh, I know, bizarrely enough. But he has been the fan favorite for Reed Richards forever. And so I then looked back at this and I was like, you know what? What this film has done is it's played into all that fan service. It's gone, there he is as Reed Richards, there he is as Patrick Stewart, there she is as Captain Carter. They're in the MCU. You've had them in the MCU, so that when we get a Fantastic Four film in a couple of years and people aren't like, oh, you should have cast him. Like, well, no, you got him. He was in a different multiverse, but he's dead now. That's how I saw it.
So, but what I got out of it was because of what Wanda said to him, where have you got a child? And he said yes. And have you got a wife? Yeah. And, well, at least they'll have someone to raise him. And then she killed him. America Chavez has the power to go through dimensions, and she in the comic book she has to make a team of young Avengers. You don't think Franklin Richards is going to pop up during the Multiverse of Madness? That is the segue for introducing Franklin, not the Fantastic Four, in my opinion. I think they'll use him in the Fantastic Four film. I think they'll definitely use him because it's too much fan service not to. But I think that was a segue of saying Franklin exists in the MCU and we can use him now. Franklin is the son of Reed Richards and Sue Storm. He has cosmic pulse powers, if I remember rightly.
Yeah, he's like incredibly powerful.
And he was raised by Agatha Harkness. And we've got her TV series coming out very soon, and it's a Multiverse of Madness. So I'm still sticking by my original thing that I said during WandaVision, that she will raise Franklin, and then we'll see her again in that. I think that's where we'll see Fantastic Four maybe appear again next.
Yep, I agree. But yeah, I thought seeing Reed Richards was awesome. Like seeing him as Reed Richards, he didn't I don't know. He just did everything I would want him to do. He looked the part. He sounded the part. He's
the more modern version of him with the beard and everything. He looks more modern. He's not the squeaky clean version we've seen before. He's like the more modernized.
Not the 1950s.
I did expect him to for it to segue into him just on a couch talking to the camera, and then cut back to the action. Like this part, I think I'm gonna die. Like, and then he cuts back.
And then there's also talking just white. Yeah.
But yeah, I like the cameos. I thought that they were good, and I thought they did fan service
without going over the top. It didn't become what I was really worried about, which was a cameo fest of just everything that's ever happened ever. Because remember when we talked about it, people said how awesome that was, and there was that leaked list, and it had like Nicolas Cage, Ghost Rider, and all that stuff. And and back then I said, I didn't want it to be that. I was really happy. I thought it was a sensible amount of cameos. I was genuinely content to just leave it at that. So I'm really happy they reined it right in and gave us a lot without giving too much.
Yep, completely agree. The only one that I was disappointed wasn't in it was Ghost Rider. And not necessarily Nicolas Cage's Ghost Rider, but just Ghost Rider, because he ties in so perfectly with the subject matter. And I think seeing Ghost Rider in this style of film would have been incredible. I actually
thought he was going to be something to do with the post-credits.
Yeah, I did.
I
didn't think it was going to be Nick Cage. Again, I just thought it was going to be a Ghost Rider with so that they could cast someone else at some other point, but just the actual flame and skull. I thought that was going to come out of the ruins of which tore down. I thought that was going to be the thing at the post credits. But it was
just something. That was the only cameo I was disappointed about.
Yeah, with them wanting to do if they do want to do like a Ghost Rider movie, I do hope they do look to someone like Sam Raimi, because obviously he's proven with this film that he can make it accessible still and still be released under the sort of Marvel Disney name, but still make it dark enough to warrant the source material.
Well, I think this gives them the green light now, doesn't it, to go ahead and go, okay, we can do dark, we can have light and airy, and we can have dark. We can do both.
Yeah. But you look at this and you look at Moon Knight, they are going down different roads. They are definitely going down different avenues of things.
Which is good, because it did need to start diversifying its storytelling, because there was at one point where I was getting a little Marvel fatigue. But now they've started everything is really different now to each other. And I think that needs it. Yeah. Definitely needs it.
Yeah.
For me,
I agree.
I was getting that way after Infinity War had ended and Endgame. That kind of felt like a natural close to the MCU, in my opinion. And I saw that as like the swan song, the end of it, and I thought, wow, all the years I've been going to cinema and it's now kind of over. That's it, it's done. And then they kept going in there like with WandaVision stuff, and it was cool, but I kind of felt like, where's this all going? But now we've seen that film and the Spider-Man movie, I can see the direction they're going in now. I can sort of see where it's sort of heading.
Yeah.
And obviously we had COVID and stuff, which didn't help. But I mean, it would have been cool to get all this stuff in a shorter span. I think if we could have got out the TV series back to back straight away, and then got these two films to cinema a little bit quicker, I think would have been a bit more Marvel build-up of excitement again.
Yeah. So after the big cameo fest, it then led us to kind of the last chapter of the film, didn't it? Whereas, she got the Darkhold.
Are we not referencing any of that? Like when, because obviously Xavier went inside basically Wanda's mind.
Oh yeah, we didn't talk about him dying, did we?
And like him dying, and he was going to pull her out of the rubble, and that to me was very much reminiscent of House of M, and come on, Wanda, it's not real. Come on, Wanda, you need to get out of there, Wanda. He was trying to pull Wanda out from under the spell, kind of thing. And I like that kind of nod to the comics.
That death was one of the scariest bits in the film for me, where she came out from behind him, and I really want to be able to freeze frame that to see, because she looked very different, didn't she? She was very evil looking, so I can't wait to kind of freeze frame that. But when she came out and snapped his neck, and then it just cut to him, that was a brutal death. But that was. Can we
just reconfirm to people that are listening? This is in the UK. This was released as a 12A movie.
Oh, I know. Well, that's the thing, is when it was marked up as 12A, I said to my kids, we'll go and see it. We'll go and see it. Following on from Spider-Man, we'll go and see Doctor Strange. That's fine. I kind of ignored the fact there was a Sam Raimi film, and
I wonder how much he had to maybe take out to get that to a 12A, and how much Disney were like, just name your price to make it a 12A.
Yeah.
It's a 15. No.
Shall I tell you?
You name your price, and we'll make it a 12A.
Some of the creepiest bits is when Wanda was doing the what they call it, the shadow walking.
Shadow walking or something.
Shadow walking. And her spirit was kind of in the house, and the other Wanda was looking at the stairs.
Very poltergeisty.
It was, wasn't it? And then I was looking, and then the reflection in the mirror was the.
I actually jumped to that. That actually made me jump.
I found the
Yeah.
picture frame moving really creepy as
Oh
well.
yeah, the
Just
picture
all of
her.
it was just a
Ooh,
big bag of nope.
yeah, yeah,
Coming,
big bag of nope.
coming soon from
Actually-
Jordan Peele.
Actually, there is. Yeah, it is. But yeah, it was just brilliant. It was brilliant. And then, so that took us into the kind of last chapter, didn't it? They killed off all the cameos. They kind of officially kind of went, there's your cameos. Now they're all dead. Let's get on with the film. So you're not looking for another cameo. And they went into that last kind of act. And Wong stuck it out. Like the guy, he held on for a long time. Like it was cool. What did you make of Sinister Strange, as they called him?
Oh, the evil Doctor Strange with the eye of Agamotto in his head.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was.
They also, he didn't say the line from the trailer.
No.
Things just got out of hand. You know, that really cool bit in the trailer wasn't in the film. And I kept waiting for him to say it. It's like, oh, we didn't say it. All right, fine.
Yeah. But they do that all the time. Come on, we know that about
I know, but it was just it was so cool the way they did it in the trailer. Like, I thought, like,
shall I tell you what?
I really thought you just went, shut up.
I thought you said shut up. Then.
Shut up.
Hey, shall I? Something else that I found weird, why we're talking about trailers, is that they re-released the trailer, removing Rachel McAdams' character from that doorway scene. You know, where the three of them jump in. But why? Like when I watched the film, I was like, what was the significance in CGIing out that character? It's almost like they went, oh, we usually take somebody out of the scene for a trailer. Her? You, lady at the back, like, you know, so but it made no sense, did it? Like I didn't miss anything there, did I? There was no reason.
The thing is as well, though, which I think does play into it sometimes as well, is in their contracts, certain celebrities will have things in there like, you know, they've got to have so much screen time. So maybe they've filled her screen time now, they didn't need her in the final trailer, wipe her out so they don't go over budget because they can't pay her anymore. Things like that come into effect in Hollywood, which is insane. But I know there's been famous things from some films where some actors have been paid by what word they say. And if the things got added to the script, they got paid more money. So it's like,
wow.
So that there is all these random things in Hollywood of how showbiz works. So I mean, sometimes I think things are cut out for spoiler references, but I think sometimes things are cut out for contractual budget things like that. The real
is that why Owen Wilson didn't go wow in Loki?
He gets paid a bit. He gets a bonus every time he says wow.
Yeah. I enjoyed the final act of the film, though. I thought it was the pacing was good.
Yeah, this part of the film leads into my favorite scene that I think I've ever seen in an MCU movie.
Oh,
where they used the thing that I thought was if this part alone should win a goddamn award, when they were fighting with the notes, the musical notes.
Yeah.
And every time the musical notes hit one of them, it made the noise of the classical music. It's all them classic horror soundtracks. And they were throwing them at each other, and every time it hit one of them, it'd go the ba-dum. Oh, I thought that was so well done.
That was so entertaining. I loved it.
It was a really good. Annoyingly, in my showing of it, everyone was laughing at that bit.
Why?
Because, when you think about it, it is ridiculous. Like you've got these two sorcerers, and they're fighting using like musical projected.
Notes.
I chuckled when they first did it,
and every time they throw one, it was like it's quite a comical scene, but when you're invested in the film and you're watching it, it kind of makes total sense.
I was too engrossed in the darkness of it, I think.
Yeah. Well, I was as well.
I chuckled because in my head it was very kind of like magical Tom and Jerry. Like if Tom and Jerry like throw a piano at each other, like he goes, it will go like as it falls down or something, you know. And it was kind of like that. But I liked that though because it showed like the true wonder. I know it sounds stupid because it's in the dark battle thing, but it was the wondrous side of magic, the lack of limitations to the imagination of magic. You know, like the fact that, you know, rather than just turn the paper into razor blades, no, the notes came off the paper and turned into this. Do you know what? It just took something and just extrapolated it into something so much more imaginative. And I was very deeply respectful of that.
I've got to say, Benedict Cumberbatch definitely deserves some credit for playing such significantly different versions of himself within one film. Like, we're all impressed with like Oscar Isaac doing like Stephen and Mark in Moon Knight, but Benedict just kind of took the upper level and went, I see that you're playing two versions of yourself. I'm going to play like six. I'm going to play like six different versions. And he obviously did the zombie. Bless you. did the zombie version as well, which was
actually
cool.
the Defender one, which is cool because I thought it was a different one, but it's actually just the dead one from the beginning, who decomposed really quickly.
Really quick.
Yeah.
What's in that soil?
Yeah. Not Miracle, that's for sure.
It was cool.
Yeah, because obviously we escaped that scene where obviously they do the whole battle thing. He throws him outside and he gets impaled, by the way, on that spike.
Oh,
again, another
time,
brutal death scene, and you see it as well, which is they didn't cut away. Just landed there, didn't in front of Rachel McAdams. But yeah, that was where we saw the eye, the Agamotto eye, obviously in his head, which we see obviously later on with our Doctor Strange later on in the cameo in the post credit bit.
But again, why did they show us that in the trailer? Like, that was such a cool pop, and that could have been like, they didn't need to show us that. They'd already shown us Doctor Strange.
Most people that aren't aware of the comic books will have no idea what the reference to that even is. Let's be honest. Unless you're a diehard reader. Yeah, go on.
Or you're just into your mystics or Eastern philosophy type, and it's very much that, your third eye chakra and stuff like that.
It's the eye of, in the comic books, it's the Eye of Agamotto. It's the sign of the Eye of Agamotto, which has been hanging around Strange's neck for the entire trilogy, the entire film saga so far. That is the manifestation of the Eye of Agamotto.
Which he still had on him as well. Even though he didn't have the time stone in, he still had the contraption, didn't he? And I thought that was like a nice little...
Well, it's because it's now been corrupted by the Darkhold. I think that's the whole point, isn't it? Because it's now been corrupted.
Yeah.
And he does the next bit, which is the big no-no in the comic books, which is in using his dead self. He uses the Darkhold to go dream walking as himself, but the dead version.
Yeah, that was insane.
I kept thinking, for some reason, when I watched it though, I started chuckle it, which was awesome. The whole the arm through a proper zombie dead sort of through the soil thing. But the bit, I don't know why it popped into my head when it did. And I laughed when it probably looked like an absolute idiot, but I just chuckled because suddenly I just remembered Aladdin from 90s with Genie. I don't like beating people back from the dead. It's not a pretty sight. I don't like doing it. He's doing that whole zombie. I don't know why that popped into my head. So when everyone else was like, oh, I was like, damn it, Robin Williams.
It was like, I like the fact that we saw the arms and everything,
and then she the Rachel McAdams sort of says to him, use the demons, don't let them use you. And he sort of turns the demons into his cape. Well, that's just
that was
badass part of it.
The way he lands with all of the things, I was like bitching, and I just love that one was like, I don't want to know. The Sorcerer's Supreme's just like, nope. Don't
I just think that there's definitely a deluxe figure of that coming. Like, there's so much potential with that one, and
it'd be really cool if it could detach into being all separate demons, and then you could somehow clip it all together to make them.
Okay, that would be cool.
Like a HasLab project. Like, unlock tier 3 and we'll give you 16 demons.
If HasLab even still exists anymore, because
no, they're rumoring to have a Marvel one this year. But anyway, we're not talking about that. We'll talk about that on the Geek Week. So taking it through to the end, did Wanda die?
No.
Yeah.
Oh,
I love we both said there's a number.
Yeah, did she die? Like, it wasn't
this
really
one
clear,
Marvel
was it?
style, true Marvel style. Unless you see a body, they're not dead.
Yeah,
I don't know. I got a feeling this one that is dead. I think because the problem is obviously you've got White Vision is still alive, so that kind of made me think that maybe there might be something there. But then I don't know. I kind of feel like,
remember Wanda's power sets?
No, I know, but like
she can change reality.
I sound stupid. I kind of liked the ending for her. I know it sounds really bad, but I kind of liked that wrapped up for it. She finally saw herself become the monster and the villain, and she, she couldn't take. I know it sounds stupid, but she took the evil down with her. She couldn't take the evil from her. Like, she couldn't be happy without it, and she realized what she turned into, and she just sort of took the whole thing with her. And I don't know. I quite liked it. I thought it just wrapped up nicely for her. I
can see something like the demon or whatever it is that they're going to use as the Darkhold in this film series has survived that, and that you're going to eventually see that thing escape Wanda's body, and go into someone else or be a part of something else. Just because it was too much of a, I've destroyed every Darkhold across every multiverse, therefore this is the only Darkhold film we're ever going to get. Nah, come on. That was too easy. And then the fact that we saw it all collapse and we didn't actually see that. Are you telling me nobody went to recover her body? Come on.
Yeah.
The Avengers didn't want to go and bury her? Nah.
And also you've got, because which universe this was taking place in 616, wasn't
616,
So
there's other multiverses with Wanda in it that they can go and grab.
So I know you got the new Agatha series coming out, and like I said, you got White Vision flying around somewhere.
And he's fully aware now of everything. You know, you got to remember that
he's got his memory back.
So he's going to want to reconnect with her, and she doesn't know that. She doesn't know that he's got his memory back, does she? She just, as far as she's concerned, she said goodbye. Dead. So I think that I don't think she's going to be dead, and I think that meeting back up with Vision is going to be what kind of brings her full circle and back to normal. I think this has killed the evil part of her, and I think we're now back to
how do you go
of her being good,
bringing her back into a hero when she's just killed so many people.
Because in the comic book she wiped out half the universe but was still an Avenger. She said no more mutants and everyone forgave her, and she wiped out half.
And
I kind of feel like
she's not powerful than Thanos.
But I got a feeling that's more like okay in a comic book than it is in a film. I know it sounds very stupid, but cinematically, I don't know. I think it's different, like the audience of a really long running and over many years comic book rather than a film franchise that, you know, I don't know. I think the general audience would be less, they would question it more if she suddenly was like in the next film, like,
oh, she's not going to be
sorry guys. Oh yeah. What can I say? What am I like? Who else but Wanda?
I don't imagine they'll ever use her as a hero ever again, unless they grab another alternate version of her that's never been corrupted. But I see her coming back as the corrupted Wanda, as the Scarlet Witch, as they're calling it, the other entity. I can see her coming back as the manifestation of it.
My theory is slightly different. I think that this is the horror story that we've seen. We've seen her go from broken woman to Darkhold to this monster and everything like that, and this has killed that part of her. So it will be one of them things where she kind of wakes up, like she's not dead. She wakes up, she's got no memory of anything, and she's got to relearn who she is and that kind of stuff. But the dark element is gone because, as you say, the demon's taken that and gone somewhere else. So she was just a vessel, and now she's kind of back to who she was. And so therefore they could have Scarlet Witch again, but it would be the good Scarlet Witch that people know and love from the comic books, you know. So it's,
I wanted some more of those golems fighting.
One of them made me jump. I'm not going to lie. When they're
first there, when they first reveals themselves. But I kind of wanted a bit more from them. I thought we were going to see some demon cape versus golem things fighting, and it seemed like one got rid of one, and then the other three was just like,
I was just hiding.
Bye.
What do you think of the ending then?
What, in the actual ending of the film?
Yeah, how the film ended before the credits.
I actually, that's one of the bits where it sort of lost me a bit. I actually almost felt like it was missing a few scenes.
Yeah.
In all honesty, it was almost someone that went like, "Oh shit, is that the time?" Right. Get him outside. Third eye. Okay, credits, quick. It was like, you know, I don't know, like it just seemed like there was some really non-summed upness to it. But not in a way that like, oh, we've left it open for this. It just seemed, it really felt like there was a bit missing. That was the bit I actually was kind of like, why I said that when I gave it like an 8 out of 10. That was one of my main things. I didn't think it was a strong ending. I'm talking like the fight, as in like the fight ends. I really liked all that. It was the bit after that between the fight ending and the credits. I was like, I don't know. It wasn't tied enough for me.
I'm exactly the same. I kind of loved but hated the whole with Wong, the are you happy and that kind of stuff. It was like, you know, are we best friends? Are we going on different paths? Like, you know,
we're building bunk beds.
You could be my wingman any day, like, you know. But
this is my samurai
sword. I like the fact we saw America Chavez kind of being trained. I think that was kind of cool. I don't think she's going to stay there long, but it was cool to see that she had found her place. And then, how do we round it up? Quick scream in the street. It was like, you know, and that to me was just a little bit Bit nothingy. What about you, Sorrell? Do you anything different on that? Or
no, I like the fact that they showed like Wanda's evil side to the two kids, and showed like the fact that showed Wanda the evil that she'd become, and that the whole point was she was trying to save her kids. In fact, she scared the crap out of when she got to them. I like that whole bit. I thought that tied up her story very nicely. I thought her death was a bit if she's dead or whatever, I thought that scene was a bit unnecessary. Just randomly killing off the monster felt a bit silly. But I get why they did it. It writes her out for a while now. And but I didn't mind the ending. I thought the ending rounded out everything we needed to, and it's clearly not over. There's more to come.
Yeah.
This is the first proper outing of the multiverse. We got a taste of it in Spider-Man. This time we got to visit the multiverse. And now I feel that the multiverse is going to be coming to us in the next film. Like, as in there's going to be all the incursion stuff going to be going on now, like big battle scenes.
Yeah. Well, that leads in quite nicely to the post-credit scene, because obviously that's exactly what happened, wasn't it? That, somebody came into 616 and summoned Doctor Strange.
Theron.
Do you know who her character is?
No.
She's the female Doctor Strange, right?
No, she's his wife.
His wife, yeah. That's what I mean, though. Clea, Clea. She's like Clea, Sorcerer Supreme, wasn't she, for a while?
She does become the Sorcerer Supreme at some point, but essentially she's his wife. She's also related to Dormammu as well somehow.
I kind of meant she's kind of like his female equivalency is what I kind of meant.
Yeah. She's tied in with Dormammu somehow. I think she's his granddaughter or great niece or something like that. But she's tied in with Dormammu. But I've come to bargain. But
sorry. Whenever I hear the name, that's what pops into my head.
But that split that she creates that's Dormammu's
universe,
place, isn't it? Yeah. I was really surprised at her what's her name? What's the actor's name? Yeah, I can never say her name. I'm rubbish at names.
Yeah.
But I was really surprised. Shut up, Brian. But
it's Brian. It's been Brian for the whole night.
But I heard nothing about her being in this or being rumored to be in this, or it's like it was so surprising that it was almost like if I was watching it live, they'd just pulled her in off the street. Like, kind of, do you want to be in the end of this film? Like, I had no idea at all. And I also didn't know that what's her name, Clea, was coming to it. I think the thing that upsets me is that aside from the film, that Benedict Cumberbatch has taken a break from acting now, right? He's made a statement that after this film, he's going to take a break from acting. So they said Doctor Strange will be back, but they don't know when. They have no idea when. Like,
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he's made a statement. Thing is most of these actors that say they take a break, like that's just like they don't want to do a particular film, and then they're back.
Mickey Mouse has got a big checkbook.
Yeah. So supposedly he's taken a break from acting, but it leads in nicely to where Doctor Strange's story might go. To
be fair, if he took a couple of years off, it'd still be all right, because the amount of films lined up for the next couple of years, it would be fine for him to take a couple of years off acting. If he took two or 3 years, joking aside, is that really going to be that different from the gap in a lot of other films? Look at the gap between Iron Man films and stuff.
Let's be honest,
that's probably why he said.
Yeah, and let's be honest, this will be built into his contract somewhere. He will have said this will have been a thing for a while, that he gets a break after so many films so that he can do what he wants and then come back to the franchise. There's no way that he didn't tell Disney about that first. You know what I mean? No. This will all be built into the grand scheme of things. You know what fighting's like for putting everything into bloody what do you call it, like a chart, and working out where everything goes. They'll be plotted somewhere where he returns.
I'm taking Wednesdays off. Oh, and 3 years in the middle.
I won't want bank holidays for those 3 years.
We won't see him now for a while because we're going into the Kang the Conqueror storyline, which is more Ant-Man and it's all like the Young Avengers and that now. Strange isn't needed for quite some time. Yeah. He's not needed for quite some time now. If we're going to do the Dark Universe, that'll be later down the line, because we're going to have Kang the Conqueror now.
But I think that was what was quite nice about the after credit scene, is that it was essentially him departing from the universe. He's gone off to do something else, and he'll come back when he does. And then the post credit with Bruce Campbell, like that, I just felt cheated. I was just like, cheated. That's not even funny. Like, that's like a real in-joke between Bruce Campbell and Sam Raimi. They're the only two people that found that funny. No one else
I don't know.
did.
I actually found it funny because it reminded me of when... Yeah, well, because it reminded me of when there was that big post-credit thing, and it was just Chris Evans from the training video going about patience, like just mugged everyone off.
Funny, but that was. I thought
this was funny because, like, I don't know, maybe it's just me, but I thought it was a very Sam Raimi humor type thing.
You know, when you've got a friend who hears a joke by a stand-up comedian and then says it to you as if it's their own. That's how they felt to me. It was kind of like Bruce Campbell, who's not in the MCU, and Sam Raimi, who's a new director in the MCU, saw that post-credit scene and was like, "Oh, that's funny. Let's do that and pass it off as our own."
Oh, like, do you know what? He technically is in the MCU though, because he's the ring announcer from Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man, and he's now part of the MCU. So he is already part of the MCU.
No, but that's not MCU, is it? Tobey Maguire.
Well, technically it is, because even like that was still a Marvel MCU film, and he came in there. So
no, it was a Marvel. It was a Marvel. No, it wasn't. It was a Sony's film. It wasn't part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Marvel Cinematic Universe started with Iron Man. Let's just be clear on these things.
But they crossed over.
But I do get it. So. I do get it. But that's about it. I think that kind of wraps up the film. What, as a whole, where would you put it? A good, a bad, a maybe.
A good 8 out of 10 for me.
Oh, for me, I've already kind of said to you guys, this was my kind of rekindling with the MCU a little bit. I kind of felt a bit out of it since Endgame, but no, I thought this was a good stepping point for where they're going forward. So no, this is my favorite one so far they've done this year, easily. I'm giving it a solid 9 out of 10 to 10, easily.
Yeah,
because I enjoyed the horror elements.
I agree.
I enjoyed all the horror elements. I thought they got it. I thought they got the balance just right between horror, comedy, and keeping it an open, accessible movie to kids, but still being true to what it's meant to be. I thought that was an all-round film that everyone could watch, and I enjoyed that.
Yeah, I came out of it, like I've said to you, gents. I came out of it very much kind of like, well, that's a 6 or a 7. Like, it was okay, it wasn't great, but the more I've digested it, the more I've thought about it. It's definitely up there as like an 8 or a 9 for me now. And I'm really looking forward to rewatching it when it's kind of available to rewatch. Yeah, that's it. Anything else to say on it?
Young Avengers is coming.
Yeah.
I'm sticking by that. Because now we've obviously just in that we've obviously now got America Chavez. She's there. She's the future kind of half leader of the team, along with Wiccan, because Wiccan and is it Speedster, something like that? Wiccan and Speed.
Yeah.
And then we've already got Cassie Long, Kate Bishop's already there. They're building up this. Kid Loki exists in the wider universe, and the fact
new Black Widow.
Yeah, she's kicking about. The fact that she was kind of never in the Young Avengers, but they'll include her just because she's about the same age. But the fact that we've got America Chavez, who can now just at the touch of a hat just go to whatever universe she wants, I think we'll go on some form of universe hopping thing now, where we'll pick up all these other characters later in life and bring them all to the MCU. It
just opens up the possibility of bringing in these characters into the main universe without having to kind of, where were they during Endgame? Where were they during like Infinity War and the Battle of New York and stuff like that? Like, it's a very, very cool way of bringing the X-Men, the Fantastic Four, bringing those things into the MCU. So I'm really excited by it. But yeah, cool. All right. Well, if there's nothing else to say, let's round it off. If you watched the show, thank you very much. It's been good fun just kind of chewing the fat about one particular subject. If you've got any thoughts, feelings, or other opinions, the ones we've shared in the episode, then by all means drop them in the comments. Give us a like, share, follow, all those things. Check the description for the gents details. Give them a follow if you don't already do so. We will see you on our regular time on our regular show. This has been a Geek Week in Review special edition. Till next time, keep it geek.
Geek Week in Review.
So if you want to follow on what I was saying on the Geek Week this week about the Young Avengers and how I think they're going to fit into this, please go do some reading on Marvel.com about Mother, the parasite demon that lingers within the MCU. Go read it.
Ooh.
Geek
Gents,
Week
go
in
read it as
Review.
well.
Geek Week in Review has got post-credit scenes now.
Welcome
If
to
you
the
haven't
big
read,
leagues.
if you haven't read the comics in a while, go read up about Mother, and then tell me that they're not going down that storyline.